I want to take this opportunity to show you exactly how this product works. What I'd like to do is show you exactly how this product is so effective. First and foremost, you need to understand that ZorbMax works at a cellular level. Cellular. Primarily the red blood cells, which is called the erythrocytes. Let me show you what an erythrocyte looks like. Simple, isn't it? Just a circle. That's a healthy red blood cell right there. When you're looking at that under a microscope, that's a healthy red blood cell. Now, unfortunately, and here's where it comes into play that affects each and every one of us. Every one of us. These red blood cells always aren't healthy looking like that. 9 times out of 10, they're going to end up looking something like that. The next thing you know, instead of having these nice, healthy, round blood cells, what you got here are these red blood cells that start to look like this. These red blood cells, they stick together. People call them sticky blood. Call it what you will. At the end of the day, these erythrocytes or red blood cells, they stick together. They don't have the water pressure or the oxygen necessary to be healthy and to transport nutrients throughout the body. They get stuck. And not only is it a sticky blood, but it's a slow-moving blood. So it's really not transporting anything. That's why we get tired. That's why we get lethargic. That's why nutrients aren't transported throughout our body to our various tissues. We're not experiencing the results that we anticipate by taking other nutraceuticals or nutrition and so on and so forth. So they're rendered not useless, but inefficient to some degree. That's the Rollo effect, or Rouleau, depending on what part of the world you're from. The pronunciation varies. But at the end of the day, what you have is a lack of oxygen and a lack of water pressure, osmotic pressure again, which is clumping up all these red blood cells. And they're just stagnant for the most part. It's almost like a stagnant pond. What lives in a stagnant pond? Not much. You want a free-flowing stream. That's what carries life, a free-flowing stream. That's what we need to think about when we think about our bloodstream, a free-flowing bloodstream that can carry all the nutrients throughout our body where it needs to go. But this cannot bring the nutrients in and get rid of the bad. The bad. That's what the cells do. They take in the good, they get rid of the bad. So we want to take in the good, we want to get rid of the bad. These cells, under these conditions, cannot do it. So what happens? You build up a high level of toxicity, and then what happens? Each department of your body, your various areas start to become overloaded, and before long, disease sets in and you start to shut down. That's what happens. That's where disease comes about. You don't just walk outside and catch a disease. Disease, you had to work for it. Seriously, I know you don't want to hear it, but you had to work hard to get that disease. Seriously. So, that is because the cells, because that's where life begins at a cellular level, begins and ends at a cellular level, we have to think about how healthy is our cell. If we don't start at the beginning, how effective are we going to be to provide an entire product line that's going to keep you healthy? It doesn't exist. If you don't start at the beginning on the foundation and hit your 4 cornerstones and lay that foundation properly, you're not going to have any health at all, period. This is the cell we want to have. This is a healthy cell. This is ZorbMax right there. Because when you spray ZorbMax in your mouth, and get this, you don't even have to ingest it. It doesn't take an hour before it starts to work. And then, you hope and pray that it's actually doing something. Are you kidding me? No, we're working at a cellular level. You spray it in your mouth. Within seconds, it begins work. In under 2 minutes, it's actually established its end result, which is stimulating these bad cells, turning them into a variety of good cells. We're reversing the polarity because we are electromagnetic beings. ZorbMax is an electromagnetic product, all natural 100%, dealing with minerals, but in a very proprietary format, patent pending. So when you have cells that are now stimulated like this with the right polarities, I say that's negative, which is a good thing, by the way, when it comes to cells. because your plasma is positive, your cells are negative. So when that comes to being, that increases the osmotic pressure. Guess what? This fatty lipid layer, it's a fatty layer. It's a lipid fatty layer around the red blood cell. Now, when that is buoyant and stretched out, it becomes healthy. It gives off an electromagnetic glow, a ring. You can see it in the microscope, and it's really fascinating. It's a halo, if you will. It's really neat. And it just gives off this radiant beam around the cell. And when that takes place, now your cell is ready for the most key and the most important part of this entire absorption and transportation process. So you've got these nutrients, whether it comes from your foods or whether it comes from your nutraceuticals, your nutritional protocol, okay? All that you're ingesting, fine. It gets into your bloodstream, but there's no guarantee it's actually getting into the cell itself. If you don't handle the cell first, you've missed the boat completely. Goes back to what I just said. So all these nutrients that are flowing around in your plasma, your bloodstream, hoping for absorption, hoping to be transported to your brain and to all the other tissues of your body, it won't happen unless the cell is in the right state. ZorbMax creates that right state, okay? So we've created this big water pressure, this osmotic pressure. This fatty lipid layer is now stimulated. It gives off this wonderful glow, and guess what? Now nutrients can go into the cell where it needs to, but we're not done yet. Here's the cool part about how God created our bodies. And that's the only way I can really sum it up. So not only does the good come in, but now the cell is strong enough and active enough to take the bad out, okay? Bad out, good in. ZorbMax, very simple. This is not rocket science. Bad out, good in, really quick, within 2 minutes. That's what's taking place with ZorbMax. It's only exclusive to one particular company in the whole wide world. Let's keep it that way. You want to be a part of it? Here it is, right here. Out with the bad, in with the good. You want to be in with the good? In with the good. Okay, let's do it this way. 3, 6, 0. Into the cell, right there.